Hi there, I'm author Shannon Reber. This is Genre's Bookshop podcast, and today I am interviewing MK Gibson, writer of, well, several books that I love. So introduce yourself, say hello, tell us something interesting. Come on.
All right, let me see. Hi, how's everybody doing? MK Gibson, but everybody just calls me Gib or Gibby. I was in the Air Force for 20 years, and I didn't become a published author until I was 40 years old.
Oh my God. See, I figured I was probably older than you. So it seems as though we're probably on the same age
I'm
length.
46.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, congratulations. I'm 42. Oh my gosh, we're so old, aren't we?
I feel it. I mean, after as I got back from taking my son to um his camp today, I some days I do strength training workouts, some days I do bike riding, and like the bike riding after 15 or 16 miles, I'm sucking wind really, really bad. And so when I got home today, I was just dying. My knees hurt, my back hurts, everything hurts. And I cheat.
Yes.
I use one of those e-bikes that gives me just a little bit of extra. I can dial up how much extra boost it gives you. And
Okay.
it's man.
Well, see, I figured you were probably military just because, I mean, of the things that you've written. It makes a
Mhm,
lot of sense.
mhm.
So, oh, I figured either military or cop. So, congratulations, it came through. Good
Is it
job.
the look? Is because I have an angry face? Is that what does it?
No, it's the way you write, like the descriptions with Salem and
Mhm.
also with oh balls, no, I can't remember his name.
Marcus,
Thank you,
welcome.
Marcus.
I know because you just finished that book. Yeah.
I did,
Yeah.
yes.
I spent 20 years, like I was raised, my stepdad was former military. So I was raised in a very militant household that it wasn't a good one. It was kind of like a grumpy man who's angry at the world kind of thing.
Oh,
So like every stepdad story. So it's not gonna
yeah.
go well. Um, but that being said, when I joined the Air Force, I guess that's like one of the least militant of the militaries, but still after 20 years, you learn how to at least how to say please and thank you in the most proper way while never meaning it. You learn to play the game, but you learn to take care of those who are underneath you or in your charge. So,
Okay.
and I was enlisted, so I retired as a master sergeant, and
Okay.
it was a great. I grew up in that time. I joined at 40 because had I went after high school. I had done like a couple years of community college, and I went off to a 4-year state school. But then I frankly pissed away my education with I had hair, I was chasing girls, I was drinking, I was, and just doing young away from home for the first time stuff, ill
Right,
prepared for the
yeah.
real world. And
Yeah.
then so I kind of tanked my potential future. So I joined the military. And so from 20 to 40 was my 20 years. So I
Okay.
literally went from a child to a man to in that time, so so it does reflect in my writing, but not in a gung ho, pro military, pro nationalist, pro
Right,
anything that
right,
kind of
right.
stance, but in it,
Yeah.
what it means to be something bigger than yourself, caring about others beyond yourself,
Right.
relying on others,
Right, right.
and while also having to have enough self reliance. But yes, that does reflect in my writing.
I do agree, absolutely. Okay, so let's see. What you said in your description that Aggie and her crew are all
Yes.
based on people you know.
Oh, without a doubt.
Okay,
So
so do you know any Grei? You know a Grei? Because I mean that's awesome, and I kind of want to move to
no,
your
but
neighborhood now.
I've known enough amazing. I have a passion for old people. This is weird, so stick with me. I have a passion for old people who are with it, they're not afraid of technology. They're like every day they act more childlike in a, I want to learn more, see more, do more, be more. And I have several men and women in my life that I knew growing up that definitely directly influence the ants in those books, because whether they're yentas or just amazing, whatever, like I love people who have like that childlike passion in their eye, no matter what the age is. I don't want to
Okay.
be one of those old people that's the world. I don't understand the world anymore, and I'll just sit in my home and watch the news and doom scroll. Like no, that's not for me. I want to have like, this sounds dumb. Did you ever watch the movie Rise of the Guardians, that animated film with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and Jack Frost and anything like that?
I don't think so, no.
If you ever have the opportunity, I highly recommend watching it. It's like, because
Okay.
it's like they team up like superheroes to stop the boogeyman. And
Oh,
it's an amazing story. It's very
that's
fantastical and
cute.
fantasy.
Okay.
But the Santa Claus character, voiced by Alec Baldwin's got like he's very Russian and big. He's got naughty tattooed on one massive forearm, nice tattoo down the other one. But his whole
Love that.
shtick,
That's so cute.
his whole shtick is, I see the world like a child and through a child's eyes. That's why I want to like perpetuate that childlike love and wonder. And it's something that has always resonated with me. I let other people act their age. I don't want to, I
Okay.
want to be,
Yeah.
I've got,
Exactly.
you have your adult job, but I mean, have fun. So
Exactly. Yes.
there it is.
Well, see, I still sound like I'm a child. So it
I
does
heard you
help.
say that on
Yeah.
the thing with Daniel Layfield. I'm like, no, yes, you have a higher register voice and it's bubbly, but it's not childlike. But you may.
Oh, good.
Now,
Phew.
no, I mean, you try doing Bart Simpson. Can you do Bart Simpson?
I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me think about it.
Don't
I
have
can
a
do
cow, man.
ET, but I can't do I'm not very. Hold on. I can't even think of Bart Simpson. All right, what's something that Bart says?
Let's see, like, don't have a cow, man, or I didn't do it, or I don't.
Dude, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
There's so much pressure right now. I don't know what to say.
I didn't mean to do that to you, so my bad. Apologies.
Well, that's okay. All right. Okay. But so let's see. The people that you know who are based on these
Back to the
characters.
original question.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have, for example, I've known my one friend Shay. She's a 6'1" ish woman I knew in the military. She was still active duty currently.
Cool.
And I knew a couple other 6' plus women over my time that, I mean, I'm 6 foot flat footed on my best day,
Okay.
but when I talk to some of these women specifically over their time, it's no secret that they're always going to be what the world sees, what I feel. And we all
Right.
have those body issues.
Right, exactly.
Like I grew up with body dysmorphia. Like I hated how I looked.
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's not do you remember, you're about my age. Do you remember that milk commercial? I'm drinking milk. And it's like, there's this hot blonde to one side and there's this young kid. He's like, but I'm drinking milk. I'm getting bigger. I'm stronger. And each time it shows him getting progressively taller and more muscular. And it's like,
yes.
yeah. And it's kind of like, but at the end it was like, are you going to appreciate me for my body or my mind? But it's kind of like, I remember as a kid, like, I guess I have to look like that in order to attract a woman in that kind of like look. And
right.
So that does not rely on gender. We all go through these issues. I mean, I also like, I was a chubby kid. I was a skinny guy. My weight would vacillate over the years. And so I you work out, but I mean, so Aggie does not feel petite. And as a girl, she almost feels like, isn't she supposed to be sweet or cute? But when you're over 6 feet tall and over 200 pounds,
right?
It's all, you're not, the girls I talk to at least were like, I don't feel like that cute little girl. I mean, especially if they put on like any kind of shoes, but any kind of heels, and they're topping around 6'4" or 6'5".
Right.
They feel like glamazon, so they have to kind of embrace it. So with this Aggie character, she's an amalgamation of some like really close people in my life that I wanted to reflect that struggle. And it's not just being tall or to being like, you just don't fit that body norm, and embracing it, because overweight, underweight, it doesn't matter. We all go through it. And Aggie is, I often call her my avatar of strength, because while Salem is my guy who's like, I can take the beatings and get back up. I'll always take the beatings and get back up. Aggie is, I can endure anything you throw at me. I will be stronger, either in body or mind. I'll get it done. I want to make sure they have a distinctive, different voice when I write them. So.
Right. Yeah.
And so her best friend in that book, G, is
I love
based
him.
off my what?
I love him.
So some of the critiques I get, because yes, he's a gay man and he acts a little flamboyant. But he's based off my wife's best friend. She met him in college when he was not quite out of the closet yet. And I won't say his name, but I love him. Him and his husband are some of my best people in the world. But they met in college. He came out, and their love for each other has endured these last, my wife, so 25 years, obviously. So,
that's fabulous.
That dynamic between my wife's best friend and her over these years is, I wanted to reflect that in Aggie and G. Okay. Yeah. And, even the Callie character, that is there is no, the veneer is very thin. She's a very much a corollary to a very friend of mine named Anna. She is an amazing woman. Her and her husband are great. And she has 3 daughters, and those daughters are reflected in Callahan's daughters. And,
Oh,
and with the mom's permission. And
yeah.
I
Okay.
like to, but I use templates. They're not one for one corollaries. But
Okay.
what I try to do is you get a template of somebody, you can add certain characteristics and
Right.
add certain
Right.
things to make them
Exactly.
distinct.
Right.
And like I just want to like honor those who have blessed me with their and let me in their lives and be my friend and have supported me. And I want to try to support them back, at least, and put them in literature. You know, it says really, it's just a thank you more than anything else. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's very cool.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm glad you enjoyed the book.
Yeah, I absolutely totally enjoyed the book, but I have to tell you, your narrator is, I think, the reason that I enjoyed the book so much.
Exie
She
Sands
she is
is
amazing.
amazeballs.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
I heard. So this is a bit of a walk, to stick with me. My main narrator, whenever I have a male narrator, like my other series, I tend to have male, like I have a lead male character.
Yeah.
I have this one gentleman named Jeff Kafer, and he tends to be most of my audiobook narrators.
Okay.
And I was looking when I wrote this, I knew Jeff was not the right person. He's a great guy, but he's not the right
Yeah.
person for the Aggie voice.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was on ACX. It's a website where you look. I do you use it? I'm
Yeah,
assuming,
that's what
for
I use. Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm on ACX. I'm listening to samplings, and I wanted gruff. I wanted with a bit of grit. I wanted a voice that was like, I wanted the voice of an addict, someone who's been through some pain.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
because Aggie
Yeah,
is
yeah.
in the beginning, she's an addict.
Right, exactly.
And once I heard Exie's voice, I asked Jeff, like, do you know this? He said he's big in the audiobook community. Like, do you know her? He's like, she's awesome and great to work with. So I reached out to her,
Ah,
and she's like, I'd love to, but I don't work because, like, for a lot of us indie guys, do you use per finished hour, or do you pay or do you do the 7-year royalty split?
I do the royalty share.
So do I.
Oh, good.
Because
Phew.
we don't have the money all the time. You know,
Yes,
we
yes.
beg, borrow, and steal for reviews. You know,
Precisely.
So
Yes.
I do the royalty share as well because, you know, in the beginning of your career, it's just about getting the work out there. So she says,
Exactly.
at the moment, I'm not currently doing that. I'm like, okay, that sucks. I interviewed some other people. We put some things out and they weren't doing it. But then she came back to me and she's like, hey, what's this character about again? And give me a gist of the character. Because at the time, Exie had done a lot of romance and a lot of these kind of like, you know, memoir style novelizations. And I said, well, she's an action hero with a dark past who strong. But beyond the platitude, she's someone who's hurt and she's afraid of showing the world her wounds.
Right,
And she's
right.
like, let me look at the manuscript again. And then she did it. She's like, I'm in. She's like, even if this doesn't make a lot of money, I love playing this character.
That's
And I was
awesome.
like, and it broke my heart because once I heard it, yes, I'm gauche enough to listen to my own audiobooks, but
Yeah,
listening
same.
to her act out the words, I wasn't even listening to my work. I was listening to her voice.
Yeah.
And when she breaks, I break. And it breaks my heart every time I listen to it. And I love it. And
Yep.
I can't wait for you to listen to the sequel because oof.
See, I gotta wait until the end of the month because I don't have another credit. So as soon
I'll
as the
send you
end
a
of the
copy.
month,
No,
it's okay. As soon as it comes, I'm definitely gonna do it. But I
Well,
haven't written my review yet. So
That's
I'm going
fine.
to get my review out there, but I'm also going to do the Audible one. That way she gets
Oh, without a doubt.
what, credit? Yeah, credit.
Yeah. Well, she gets credit. I mean, she gets a share
Yeah.
of the sale. Yes, without a doubt. Yeah, because she's so great. And I
Yes.
feel bad because like I had 4 ongoing series and I just turned it into 5 because I can't stop the voices in my head. So,
I understand. Yes.
so what used to be when I had 2 series going on, I could write 2 books a year easily.
Okay.
And now it's with 4 series going on. Now the books are coming out every other year, depending on the series. So
Okay.
like the next project I'm going to sit down to work on is the 3rd of the Aggie books. And
Okay.
I want to get it done. So like the narrators are wonderful just doing this for us, but I don't want to waste their time
Right.
for too long, you know?
Right.
So,
Exactly.
so tell me about yourself.
Well,
Like, I'm turning
I'm
it
a
around on
writer.
me. So give me, okay. I apologies. Cause like, I know Daniel, cause he was very
Yeah.
supportive. And then I saw this tweet that he mentioned with you. So which one of your books should I pick up first? Cause I
Dude,
don't, that's how we learn all the
I'll
indie
make you a
stuff.
deal. I'll make you a deal. If you send me book 2, I'll send you book 1 of my best series. It's
Okay.
Madison Meyer. It's Paranormal Mysteries. So they are
Find a pen that works here.
well, they are it's an ongoing series. She's 17 when it first starts, and then she's 19 by book 9, I think.
Okay.
And it's just it follows her life as a paranormal investigator.
Here's the thing. I have a couple credits sitting around. I'll use one of my credits and send you the copy. So she'll still get the thing, and I'll just pick up yours. I don't sweat it. It's one of those scenarios like I have no problem with that. Like, so just give me like it's Madison Meyer. What's the first book title? Is it just Madison?
The Girl in White.
The Girl in White.
Yes.
Got it.
Have you ever heard of the legend of the woman in white?
Yes.
I based it on that.
Okay.
Actually, to be brutally honest, I based it on the Supernatural pilot episode. That's where I even heard of the legend of the woman in white. I researched it after, but Sam and Dean were the reason that I got into the legends.
Well, it's no, without a doubt. Like I've always loved writing. I grew up writing poems and short stories and things like that. But my stepdad says you can't be a writer, and it broke my heart. So I never really pursued it as a passion. But the nerd in me, whenever I would draw a picture, even though I was just doodling a character, I had to create a backstory. My brain was always churning.
Yes.
And when I grew up as an only child, no brothers and sisters, so I'm constantly watching people and wondering how do they think? Do they think like me? I don't know if you're an only child or not, but I am
older sister. I was told what
how
to
humans
think.
work. Oh, so I'm constantly befuddled. Like even to this day, like do other people think like me? So you learn with friends over time. And my son, who's an only child, is now going through the same thing. Okay. Long story short, I was reading. I think it was a book called Ex-Heroes. It was about superheroes and zombies by Peter Clines, and Confessions of a D-List Supervillain by Jim Bernheimer.
Oh, that
and
sounds
they're both fun. Yeah, but that thing's like they're so fun and goofy and indie that I'm like, I could do this. And it's not belittling their work, it's like I can do this.
Yeah.
And so I sat down and started working. I'm like, man, I can't do this. So I just scrapped it and started over. And I think it was when Jim Butcher used to put out his before a new book would come out of his Dresden Files series, he would put like the first 3 or 4 chapters up online for everybody to read.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that. Darn it.
But this is around book 1, 2, like I got in around somewhere around book 6 or 7. So he would do that on his website.
Okay.
But what I would do is I would copy that, drop it into a Word doc and see, okay, this many words, this many pages, this is what the standard is that people are accustomed to. That's what I would do just to get like when I'm teaching myself how to write, you want to know, well, what is the standard that people like for urban fantasy, at least for this style? It appears to be a chapter's 3,000 words, plus or minus a little. I'm like, okay. And so, and in 30 chapters, give or take. So you look at about 100,000. Okay. And I started teaching myself at least these things. And then I love stories and I like storytelling, but I didn't know the mechanics of the actual, like how many chapters, because there's no guide. I mean, there's plenty of videos and things like that, but you learn by doing. So
exactly.
And then once I set out a million, here, hey agents, I'm a new, shut up. Hey, book publishing, shut up. I'm like, God damn it. Sorry. And it was actually, so I got in with this one publishing house that strung a lot of us along for a period of time and then let us go. Then I met some people and I jumped to another publishing house. The exact same thing happened.
Okay.
Met this author named C.T. Phipps, who introduced me to his publisher, Jim Bernheimer, the guy whose book I was reading that told me to get off my butt and do this. He published me for the last 6 years. We've recently, I've stepped into full indie on my own, and there's nothing to do with him. He's been fantastic. I'm just taking the next step to I'm going to do this completely solo because
congratulations.
I am only blessed because I did my 20 years in the military. So I have a guaranteed paycheck every month that covers the mortgage.
Right.
And my wife still works. And so I have at least that safety net that a lot of other authors don't have.
Right.
So that's the only reason I can do this right now. So I have my mortgage is covered and then most of the utilities. So we're good.
Well, that's good. And your wife covers groceries. So you're all good.
Yeah. And she's a school teacher of 20 plus years. So she's she's got her master's in English. She's here, editor lady, here you go. So I don't have to pay as much to editors. So and even that's a learning process for her as well. So we're kind of turning our household into like our own little one-stop shop. And I've been teaching myself
That's
graphic
awesome.
design and
Yeah, you
art.
designed your last cover, right?
Last couple covers, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations.
And that is a lot of YouTube tutorials, trial and error. Because I love
Okay.
art. I have a background in art, but I was never been a great personal illustrator. But this mixed media style that has become very prevalent in a lot of like fantasy style novels, urban fantasy, is
Yeah.
it's not impossible to teach yourself how to do it. It just takes time and patience to do it right. And I
Yes.
also I don't know about you, but I have like an amazing friend. Her name is Sandy Butcher. She's an author out of the Netherlands, but she has
Mm.
an art background. She's got a degree. And so sometimes when I have an idea for an art project, I show it to her and she'll shake her head and say, fix this, fix this. Your lettering's not right over here. Look at this layout. But she's also been an amazing guide,
That's
so
cool. That's very
yeah.
cool.
Well, like one thing you learn in the military, don't burn your bridges, make friends,
Right,
like lean
right,
on each other,
right.
Who do you go when you write something new? Who do you go to? Who's your first? I mean, you have to have author friends you show stuff to at least, don't you?
I do, yeah, but unfortunately, I lost the person who I used to go to. She she was a stay-at-home mom and then she got a job. So,
Oh,
working, it didn't
when you say I
didn't work
lost
out
her, I
so
was very
well.
afraid. I'm like, oh no.
No, 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 nothing like that. But but yeah, it's she honestly, at this point, I am solo. There are a few people that I run ideas past, but I'm mostly doing everything, including my editing. I'm using. Have you ever used oh balls? Hold on. Crap. I can't think of the name of it, but I use two different
Grammarly or the other one.
Pro Writing
There's
Aid.
yes,
Pro
Pro Writing
Writing
Aid.
Aid.
I
Yep.
have the free version of that. I've been curious about
Yes.
whether or not the paid version is worth
I
it.
didn't find the paid version useful personally.
Okay.
And
Mine,
Grammarly is terrible when it comes to commas. Grammarly
yes.
wants like 0 commas and everybody else has commas, in normal places.
Well, there comes
So,
to a style, like in
yeah.
like especially in my first Technomancer books, I wrote a lot of I wanted to ape the classic pulp detective novel style with a lot of sentence fragments, like which drives
Oh,
editors
yes.
mad,
I
you know.
know.
But if you're trying to get a vibe across of like it
Yes.
was a dark and stormy night kind of thing, you don't need long sentences of soliloquies. You need just and like kind of like these thought snippets that give the mental it's atmosphere.
Yes,
So
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. I'm with you on that.
Oh, well, fantastic.
But if your wife ever decides that she's tired of it, go for Pro Writing Aid. It's pretty good.
Oh, I still use it. I still use it on most of my plugins
Yeah.
anyway. So it's constantly looking at like, so I like my favorites like, we found a premium selection thing that if you pay for, we'll give you the better version of this because we found something that could
Yeah.
be better. I'm like, oh, Pro Writing Aid.
Whatever. The one that drives me crazy that I can't figure out is passive voice. They
Yes.
keep telling me that I'm using passive voice. I'm like, this sounds exactly the way I want it to
Okay.
sound. I don't even know what passive voice is. Shut up and leave me alone.
I got you on this one.
That drives me crazy.
When I was in the military, we would have to write performance reports, not for everyone that works underneath you. You have to like write performance reports every
Okay.
year. All right.
Okay.
And often you write your own, you're not supposed to, and you pass it off to your supervisor and they make adjustments, big secret.
Okay.
But one of the biggest
That you tell them.
awards or awards write-ups like that. But the biggest no is passive voice.
Okay.
So did the thing happen to the object? Passive voice. Object did the thing.
Okay.
Bob walked down the street.
Okay.
Not
That's
down,
not
down the
passive.
street. So
Oh,
as long
I
as
see.
so and so does the action, it's active
Oh.
voice.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
And
Thank you.
but sometimes you need the passive voice on certain. You need it because it's if it's an action scene or a doing scene or a moving scene, make
Yeah.
sure the object is doing the action.
Right.
Sometimes if someone's recounting a tale, something like that, the thing happened to the person. There's much clearer ways because my wife, again, the English teacher, she can break it down and like Barney style, but sometimes I'm like, that's my rule of thumb.
Okay.
Blank does the thing, and as long as blank is doing the thing, you're fine. Sometimes just be minded, like so hover over. Sometimes it'll tell you like rewrite it this way and learn by doing. So
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, well, the thing that I love about Pro Writing Aid and Grammarly, because I have them both,
Mhm.
is that they'll give you suggestions. They never give suggestions for passive voice.
Okay.
Never. I have never had one do that, and it's driving me crazy because I couldn't figure out what it was, and now I get it. So thank you.
You're at
Pro
least on the
Writing
right
Aid.
track. I have to, but the thing is, like, we're not masters. We're just storytellers. I mean, we have
Yes.
editors for reasons. So it's,
Yes.
yeah, there are people who are better than nuts and bolts. I'm not one of them.
Right.
I don't pretend to be. I try my
Right.
best. And my wife, every time I give my wife a new book, she's like, "You're getting better." And I don't take it, and I don't take it as a, I'm not being patted on the head, but she's
Yeah.
like, okay, there are fewer mistakes for me to, like, okay, your
That's
comma
good.
splices need some work. I'm like, I couldn't tell you what a comma splice is or when to use a semicolon, but she can. I mean, she literally has semicolon earrings she likes to wear. So, like,
Oh,
that's
no,
my
that's
wife.
funny. That's
Oh yeah,
cute, actually.
she's a dork and I love it, and she's great at it. So
I love that, actually.
but no, I live in, like, she's, and the best part is she's not a fantasy person. I grew up in a world of, like,
Oh,
Star Wars and Star Trek and supernatural and vampires and
yes.
werewolves and monsters, and I love all that
Yes.
stuff, and she's like, I can't. She won't watch the shows. She won't watch the movies. She's won't. It's none of that is her jam, and that's fine. And
Yes. Yes. Yes.
it keeps us sane. It was like, I'm gonna go over here and watch a vampire eat a werewolf, and then talk about the ghosts. She's like, I'm gonna go read this thought provoking essay about the philosophy of life. I'm like, cool.
Yes, yes, please. My husband is the same, but my husband likes uh British mysteries. So he's
Yeah.
the mystery guy, and or he likes old stuff. So it's always classics with him. Like, yeah, classics are great, but they that style isn't really the way things are anymore.
Right.
And you can't write that way, and you can't describe, well, okay, fine. uh, Stephen King describes in the way of a classic,
Hmm.
and it actually irks me. Like, I already have a picture in my head. I don't need 12 more pages of description of this one thing.
I agree. I am. I there. It is a when I try to show my son a movie from before 2000. There's, even in the last 20 years, we have a different way of storytelling, a way of
Yeah.
kind of getting in. First acts are much shorter because people have a much shorter attention span when it comes to,
Yes.
like, setting up. Unless it's good. Well, speak of 1 second. Hi, wife. She's getting back from taking our cat to the vet. But
Ah, yes.
if you take the original, like, Star Wars, for example, I
Yeah.
don't need to know what a Kessel Run is. Just say the thing, my brain will fill it in. You don't need to explain every little detail. It's 9 minutes and 57 seconds. Oh no.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's going to cut me off at that exact moment
It's
because
fine.
I'm not
Well,
upgrading.
when you mention, yeah, we can talk again if you like on something, but, like, yeah, I understand. But you mentioned mysteries. I wrote a book called Agents of Mortal. I plan on eventually writing a
Ah,
sequel to it, but
cool.
it's a urban fantasy cop story.
Okay.
And I've never written a cop story before, or a mystery, and that was one of the hardest things I've ever written, even though it's a comedy, even though it's
Yeah.
kind of like in the styles of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, or it's urban
Oh,
fantasy action comedy.
okay.
But trying to lay out the mystery in a procedural cop way was
Right.
harder than I thought it was ever going to be, because you know who the
Yes.
bad guy is, you know what they did. How do you lay out a set of clues that brings the reader along, but you've given them enough clues that they looked at it, they would see who it was.
Right.
But oh my, that was so hard.
Yes, I feel ya. I totally get that. When I first started writing, I was reading a lot of mysteries. So
Mhm.
I started writing mysteries. So I would, like, go back through and, like, oh my gosh, looking at my old stuff, like, these mysteries aren't terrible, but what the heck was I thinking with the romance? This romance is just disgusting. Can we stop now? I'm not a romance person these days. So I do have at least a touch of it in there in most books,
Sure.
because you lose half your readers if you don't have some.
Right.
I mean, I still like Salem, but he does
Oh,
have at least some romancy people in each book.
right.
Yeah.
There is, oh yes, Salem is, like, I always touch on it, and it's
Yeah.
something like, I In the one, I did a little, I fade to black and a lot of it. There was a
Yeah.
little gratuity in the one. And I think as I was being influenced by some of the writers at the time who all their answers for everything was more sex, more violence. That gets your readership. And you start to listen to that. And then if it feels false to you,
Yeah.
then it feels false. So like
Right.
when I wrote the one sexy scene with Salem in the second book with with the demon girl, like I did it in such a way that like it was more about sadness than it was. Hi, wife. I love you. It was more sadness in himself and disgust in himself than it was about a carnal act.
Right. Right. Exactly. And see that I did appreciate. So there you go. But yeah, the way that you grow as you write is amazing. So clearly you're doing the same thing. And hold on, there was one that was listed in your books. It was, what was it? Hermes had just robbed a Starbucks.
That's
Was it
Agents of
Hermes?
Mortal. Yeah, that's Agents of Mortal
I am
deicide.
totally
Yes.
reading those. That was hilarious. Just the image of Hermes robbing a Starbucks to get by. I thought that was the
Well,
funniest thing I'd ever
I
read.
like this idea. I love urban fantasy books. I
Yeah.
love them. I love this.
Yeah.
I love the genre. I love the myths and the humans
Yes.
and all this stuff.
Yes,
But so
yes,
this
yes.
that entire world was basically like this started as, and I even wrote it in the foreword as a blame my wife for this one. She's laying in bed, we're reading respectively, and she says, "Wouldn't it be great if Buckbeak and creatures from Harry Potter were real?" And I said, "Are you out of your mind? You think a bird flying over pooping on your car is one thing. You want a horse, you want a Pegasus pooping on your car from 100 feet above. It would crack your windshield, you know." But then, so that got me thinking, like, what if myths were real, but people didn't want them? So that's what the series is based off. We as humans told the myths through our literature, through our television, through our books. Hey, we're accepting. And they came out and we said, we're not accepting because you're ruining, like when the malls gets like sinkholes from like underground dwarves start falling in. So the dwarves created a spot in the interior of Alaska where all the myths moved and somewhat normal people live there. I called it Avalantis. It's
Okay.
like this mega city for all the fantasy. Hey, kitty, how you doing? I have two black cats.
Hey, this is Snowflake, by the way.
Hello, Snowflakes. Pleasure to meet you. I'm talking to my mother right now.
Exactly.
So
There we
yeah,
go.
it's set in this place where, like,
Sweet
you know, like
Lulu.
it's it's a comedy where like all these urban fantasy creatures came out, but they feel like second class citizens
Okay, yeah.
because the world didn't really want them. They just like the idea of them. You
Okay,
know?
okay.
Yeah.
Come on, demon. Move. Satan's
Oh,
kitten really, she will leave me alone, and then I start doing an interview and she's right here.
I have two black cats, Agatha and Grim. And yeah,
Oh, of course you do.
and they're brothers and sisters, and they're amazing. And then we have an orange one, my wife named Fox, because from like the Harry Potter
Oh,
Phoenix,
that's cute.
and
Okay,
a
so
little
she's not
boxer beagle
completely
mix.
anti-fantasy.
Oh no, she loves the little things. You know,
Okay, good.
she likes a little, like she loves the classics. She loves, like, you know, Willy Wonka and those type of things. So yeah,
Okay, okay.
it's just if I'm going to watch a show about vampires eating, like I said, eating
Yes,
something, like she's
yes.
like, no, I'm good. No, thank you.
Yeah.
So tell me more about your writing journey. Like, we got 4 minutes left. Tell me more about yourself. So when did you start writing, and when did you first
Oh,
get published?
all right. I probably started writing. Come on, move. I probably started writing like 25 years ago or so.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, I've been writing forever, but I
Sure.
started writing seriously probably 15 or 20 years ago, and I finally started publishing. I think it was 2000. I don't remember. It was like 7 years ago.
Okay.
I have
About the same as
69
me. Yeah.
titles. Yeah, I
Oh,
have 69
damn.
titles on Amazon.
That's awesome.
I have a problem. I can't stop. I have no life outside of my laptop. Well, I mean, I have my
Oh,
bookshop, but I
I won't tell your husband. It's okay.
he knows. He's
Okay,
busy
fair
with his
enough.
own stuff, so we're good. But I mean, it's been this crazy journey, and once I started, and now I have cat hair on my face. Once I started publishing, it like settled me in where I was like writing and then I would stop, and then, something else would come to mind. But it settled me in so that I was able to finish stories, which it took me forever to finish stories before. And
Mhm.
publishing got me started on that. And I started audiobooks last year. I've got I think close to 30 titles now, I think.
Awesome.
I was so excited because I'm legally blind. So
Okay.
for me, audiobooks are the only way I read a book. Um,
I'm a
so
convert because I love old timey radio plays, and I love
oh
hearing because whether I'm driving I'm on or riding my bicycle or lifting weights or doing whatever, doing chores,
yes,
I've got an
yes,
audiobook on in my ear.
yes, same here. I will not clean my house unless I have an audiobook.
Same, exactly the same.
Well, it's not like I clean it all that well, even with the audiobooks,
It
but
doesn't
still it gets
matter.
done. It gets
Yeah.
done. But yeah, it's the audiobooks are like a bucket list type thing, and I did
Yeah.
it, so now I can die happy, like 50 years from now.
50 years. That's right.
Yes.
Well, that's the things I do love this. And like there are certain authors, certain even some production houses, like, I've been dipping my toe into the lit RPG, I can't even say it, RPG genre. And sound booth theater is like, oh, it's if you like fantasy role play kind of stuff, their entire genre is
Oh,
about like characters going through like level ups and doing these things. And it's
okay.
it's game literature, and those fans are rabid. I
That's
mean,
cool.
like some people, like, you write a good one, like boom, they got 6,000 reviews within a year. You're like,
Oh,
that's just reviews.
I'm so
Yeah,
jealous of that.
right. I want to get on that train,
Heck yeah. Wow. That's
And
amazing.
I met a couple of like indie guys, because like, John Hartness, for example, I met at one of the RavenCon things. And
Oh
then
my
I
gosh, I
did
love his books. I love his
yeah.
books.
So I'll tell them, because I'm going down. So I did their podcast a couple weeks ago,
Okay.
about a month ago, and they invited me to go. So I'll be at their Authors and Dragons Con,
Okay.
August 19th in North Carolina. So I get to like hang out with like John Hartness, Waltieri, Bevan, Drew Hayes, all those guys.
That's
So
so cool.
yeah, I'm stoked. Okay, we have less than a minute.
Ah,
So the Girl in White, I will get that, and I will send
okay.
you a copy. So PM me your email address, and I will send you a copy of She Wakes in Water.
Sweet. Well, thank you. And it was lovely talking to you. And thank you for your
Pleasure.
service too, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much, and we should do this again sometime.
I think
I'll
so
talk
too.
books all day long.
All
right,
perfect. Sounds good.
Take
And
care.
I'll have Dan next time too. So,
Oh, it's awesome. I'd love to talk to him.
okay. All right. Lovely meeting you.
You as well.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.